Welcome to Feeling Uncertain, a podcast for parents navigating the unique journey of raising an autistic child or children. I'm your host, Antoinette, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Now, before we dive in, I want you to know something important. This is a judgment-free zone. Whether you've just received your child's diagnosis yesterday or years ago, whether you're feeling confident today or completely overwhelmed, you belong here. This space is for all of us walking this extraordinary path together. In today's episode, we're exploring what it means to parent through uncertainty. Those moments when the guidebooks fall short, when the future feels foggy, and when we make it up as we go along. I'll be sharing my own experiences along with insights I've gathered from other parents in our community. So grab a cup of coffee, find a quiet corner if you can, and let's talk about embracing the unknown together. Because while none of us have all the answers, there's tremendous power in knowing we're not alone in the questions. I remember the day like it was yesterday, sitting in a doctor's sterile office, hearing the words autism spectrum disorder, while my world simultaneously shuttered and came into focus. Everything made sense suddenly and nothing made sense at all. That paradox of finally having an answer, yes, yet facing 1,000 new questions, captures the essence of our journey as parents of autistic children. Uncertainty has become my constant companion on this path, and I imagine it's been yours too. That swirling mix of hope and fear, confidence and doubt, as we navigate a world that wasn't designed for our extraordinary kids. It's this shared experience of uncertainty that I want to explore with you today as we prepare for next month's Confusion to Clarity workshop. So most of us grew up with certain expectations about parenthood, milestones our children would hit, experiences we would share, challenges we would face. Then autism entered our lives, and suddenly the map we've been given didn't match the territory we were traveling. Now, I remember planning Max's birthday parties, sending out invitations to classmates, buying decorations, ordering a jumping castle, only to watch a sensory overload lead to a meltdown that left both of us in tears. And I'd followed the how to be a good parent map perfectly, but it didn't account for my child's unique needs and experiences. Now, this gap between the expectation and reality creates profound uncertainty. We're navigating without reliable guides, often making things up as we go along, which is not a bad thing. The traditional parenting books sit untouched on our shelves because they don't speak to our reality. But here's what I've learned. When the map doesn't work, we become cartographers. We create new maps based on actual terrain, our child's specific terrain, their strengths, their challenges, their triggers, and their joys. This mapping isn't done once, it's continuous as our children grow and change. And while uncertainty remains a constant, our capacity to respond creatively grows with each step. Will my child ever live independently? What happens when I'm gone? Who will love them as I do? These are questions that haunt the quiet moments of many autism parents I know. They certainly haunt mine. Now, the weight of these uncertainties can feel crushing. And while all parents worry about their children's futures, the concerns we carry often have different dimensions, different timelines, completely different stakes. Now, I spent years trying to peer into a crystal ball attempting to force certainty where none exists. The anxiety of not knowing consumed valuable energy I could have invested elsewhere. It wasn't until I began focusing on building my child's skills for today and my own resilience for tomorrow that space opened up to breathe again. Now, that doesn't mean abandoning concerns for the future. Rather, it means recognizing that the best way to prepare for tomorrow is to fully engage with the opportunities of today. Now, when I focus on helping Max develop communication skills, emotional regulation, and moments of joy right now, I am laying the foundation, the groundwork for whatever the future holds. One of the most disorientating aspects of parenting an autistic child is navigating the sea of conflicting advice from family members who insist they'll grow out of it, to the internet strangers providing untested cures, from therapists recommending one approach to educators advocating another. The contradictions can leave us paralyzed with uncertainty. I remember standing in the grocery store one day as Max had a meltdown, feeling not just the weight of managing the moment, but the phantom judgment of every parenting philosophy I'd encountered. Should I be firmer? Should I be more accommodating? Was I helping? Was I hurting? The uncertainty wasn't just about what to do, but about who to believe. What helped me find solid ground wasn't finding the one right answer. It was developing a confidence in my own expertise about my child. Not the therapist or the doctor or the teacher or the relative that spends as much time with your child as you do. While we need and benefit from professional guidance, we must also trust our own deep knowledge of our children. I've learned to filter advice through the lens of, does this honor who my child actually is, rather than, will this make Max more neurotypical? This shift doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it provides a compass to navigate it. And no one prepared me for how grief and uncertainty would intertwine on this journey. Grief isn't just something we experience at the diagnosis. It resurfaces at unexpected moments. When we see neurotypical peers hit milestones our children struggle with, when we face new challenges we didn't anticipate, when dreams we held need to be reimagined, wave of grief brings fresh uncertainty. We wonder if we're allowed to feel this way, if it means that we don't accept our children, if other parents experience the same emotions. The isolation of these questions can be as painful as the grief itself. I remember watching children in the playground engaged in elaborate teen play, while Max repetitively lined up rocks at the perimeter. The sadness that washed over me wasn't about wishing for a different child. It was mourning a shared experience I had imagined, an uncertainty about whether we would find our own version of connection. And what I've discovered is that making space for grief doesn't diminish my love for Max. It actually creates room for deeper acceptance. By acknowledging the loss of certain expectations, I can move more, celebrate the unique person Max actually is. The uncertainty about how to hold both grief and joy becomes less threatening when we recognize it as a natural part of our complex emotional landscape. Navigating uncertainty becomes infinitely more manageable when we're not doing it alone. Finding other parents who truly get it, who understand without explanation the unique challenges and joys of raising an autistic child, that has been a life changer for me. I remember the first time I sat in a support group and I didn't have to explain or justify Max's behavior. The relief of being fully seen and understood brought tears to my eyes. These connections don't eliminate uncertainty, but they provide essential companions for the journey. Our neurotypical friends and family, despite their best intentions, may never fully grasp our reality. The uncertainty about whether we belong, whether others can truly understand, creates another level of isolation. Building connections with our autism parents isn't just nice to have, it's actually necessary for our well-being. Because these relationships also provide practical wisdom when facing a new challenge, transitions to new schools, transitions to puberty, to increase the independence. Other parents who have walked similar paths can offer guidance with no professional manual can match. The lived experience becomes a flashlight in the dark, not eliminating all the shadows, but illuminating enough ground to take the next step. Perhaps nothing generates more uncertainty for autism than the constant need to advocate for our children with schools, medical providers, family members, and society at large. We become lawyers without law degrees, educators without teaching credentials, negotiators without formal training. I remember sitting in an IEP meeting surrounded by professionals, heart racing as I tried to articulate my child's needs. Uncertain if I was asking too much or maybe too little, if I was being, that parent or not being the parent enough. The responsibility of being Max's voice when systems aren't designed for them generates profound uncertainty. And what I've learned is that effective advocacy isn't about eliminating uncertainty, it's about taking action despite it. We won't always know the perfect thing to say or ask for. We'll make mistakes, but showing up imperfectly is infinitely better than not showing up at all. The uncertainty of advocacy becomes more manageable when we approach it as a long game rather than a series of high-stakes battles. Each interaction is part of an ongoing conversation, not a one-time opportunity that will make or break our child's future. This perspective allows us to be both persistent and flexible, firm in our commitment to our child's needs, but open to multiple paths to meet them. Now, among the greatest gifts my autistic child Max has given me is an appreciation for the unexpected. The developmental timelines in parenting books become irrelevant as I witness Max's unique development unfolding, skills emerging in surprising sequences, interests developing with astonishing depths, connections forming in unconventional but profound ways. I remember the years of uncertainty about whether my child would speak at all. The specialists were cautious, naturally. The progress was slow, the future unclear. And then one day, while we were just chatting, Max came up to me, gave me a piece of cheese and said, "Open the cheese," with absolute perfection, revealing comprehension that had been hidden up until then. It wasn't progress on the expected timeline or in the expected way, but it was gloriously real. These moments teach us to question our assumptions about development and communication about what constitutes progress. They invite us to celebrate the unconventional victories that neurotypical parenting milestones might just miss entirely. The uncertainty of the journey makes the unexpected breakthroughs all that much more sweet. Perhaps the most transformative shift in my relationship with uncertainty came when I stopped seeing it as something to overcome and started recognizing it as a natural element of this parenting journey, much like learning to swim with the current rather than against it. I began to work with uncertainty rather than battle it. And this doesn't mean passive acceptance of whatever comes. Rather, it means bringing intentional presence to each challenge without being consumed by the worry about it, what it might mean for the future. It means developing greater comfort with "I don't know yet" as an honest and sometimes necessary response. I've found certain practices particularly helpful in building this. Regular connection with my community provides a lot of perspective. Mindfulness practices like meditation help anchor me when I am really worried about the future and it becomes overwhelming. And celebrating small victories when it just builds resilience for the harder days. And then also continually educating myself about autism, not to fix my child, but to better understand his experience. And that reduces unnecessary uncertainty while helping me make peace with what remains unknown. Perhaps the deepest uncertainty we face as parents of autistic children involves questioning our fundamental understanding of success. The conventional markers like academic achievement and career advancement and social popularity and independent living, it may not reflect our children's unique path or prioritize what truly matters for their well-being. I've had to dismantle and rebuild my definition of success. Is my child connecting with others in a meaningful way to them? Are they able to express their needs? Do they have access to their passions? Can they experience joy? These questions now guide my parenting more than the conventional milestones. And this redefinition isn't about lowering your expectations. It's about creating appropriate and meaningful ones. It's about recognizing that human flourishing takes many diverse forms. The uncertainty of charting these unconventional paths becomes less threatening when we're clear about what truly constitutes success for our unique children. Now, as we prepare to explore uncertainty together in next month's workshop, I want you to know that I don't come as someone who has conquered uncertainty, but as a fellow traveler who has learned to make peace with it as a companion on this journey. There will still be days when worry about the future keeps me awake at night, and moments when I question my parenting decisions. Times when the road ahead seems impossibly foggy. But these experiences no longer define my relationship with uncertainty. What I've discovered, and I hope to explore that with you as well, is that uncertainty, while challenging, also creates space for possibility. When we release the expectation that we should know exactly how our children will develop or precisely what they need at every moment, we open ourselves to discovering who they actually are and what genuinely supports their growth. Our children don't follow predictable scripts, and that's precisely what makes them extraordinary. The uncertainty that comes with raising them isn't a detour from the parenting journey we expected. It's an invitation to a deeper, more authentic connection with our remarkable children. So I look forward to continuing this conversation with you, to hearing your stories, and to sharing the challenges and triumphs that come with embracing uncertainty as parents of autistic children. And together we'll discover not how to eliminate uncertainty, but how to thrive within it, finding strength and wisdom and unexpected joy along the way. All right, my beautiful souls. I will speak to you next week.